Hello and welcome to Dice Masters United. I'm Spug.
I'm Ben.
I'm James.
And I'm Peter.
Coming up in this episode.
The latest Two Team Takedown online tournament is in full swing and we'll be running through some of the emerging trends in the new Dark Phoenix fueled meta.
We'll be looking ahead to the upcoming in-person Dice Masters event at the UK Games Expo and giving insight to some of my preparation.
And with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness hitting the big screen, we'll be debating which is the best Dice Masters version of the sometimes Sorcerer Supreme.
All that and more in the latest episode of Dice Masters United.
Yes, we are back. It's really good to have you with us. And we're going to be talking Two Team Takedown, the format that we love. The Two Team Takedown is back. We've gone on about it quite a few times before. It's a familiar format to many, but basically players have to build two distinct teams from the modern meta. And yes, of course, that now includes the Dark Phoenix Saga expansion. And they have to play one opponent a week. And you have to beat them basically with both of your teams in order to win the matchup. It's an online tournament. It's being run by the good people over at DM North, using with our good friend Nick Wiley, Jackalope Spam, who's been helping out getting that up and running again. And it's using a format that was first invented by CR Game Room, who have given the whole thing their blessing. So it's really good to have this event back because it's really good fun. You get a load of different teams and you get to play and someone different every week and meet someone new. So it's been really cool. 3 of us have been playing. Peter's been a bit too busy to take part, but you have taken part in many of these before, haven't you, Peter? So
I have, yes.
You're very familiar with how it's been going. But Ben, should we start with you? What have you? What are you playing? How's it been going? Let us know.
It's been going okay. Played against some very challenging opponents. Really actually interesting matches. None of them have been particularly smooth, I'll say.
Right.
I've been playing like an Iceman team with like Danny. My main win
Danny Moonstar. Yeah.
My favourite Danny Moonstar, although I think lots of people have kind of caught on to the fact that she's quite good. And I really dislike playing against her, so that's a thing. But yeah, that team generally does pretty well, and then I have a kind of Hail Mary second team, which is the Jubilee, where if you get 5 out, you kind of win.
Yes,
they deal damage for each other attacking bulk character die. So if you get 5 times 4 damage is 20 damage, which is the life total of most, if not all, Dice Masters games ever.
Yeah, well, it can't go above 20. Well, actually, interestingly, didn't it, the other day? Exactly. What happened the other day, Peter, on that front?
I think someone asked a similar question in the Facebook group if it was possible to go above 20, and then Jimmy Darwin O'Brien replied, "Not yet."
Indeed he did. And of course we know that Jimmy O'Brien works for WizKids. He's the product manager over there. So yeah, I don't know if he's just teasing everybody and trolling us.
He's just talking about like back in AVX days where, I didn't realise that. Me and my friends used to go to like 30 life, 40 life with that beast that healed you when it blocked. God, that was awful.
2 weeks later you're still playing the same game.
Yep. So basically it's been the Iceman team's done pretty well, and then kind of hopefully the Jubilee team works out, which it sometimes does, sometimes doesn't, quite often doesn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, bit of a mixed bag, but all like quite competitive games. Nothing's been particularly like a walkover. I think all games 2-1. So yeah, good.
Nice.
And lots of fun. This is a really good format. And I'm not playing with any Dark Phoenix, so I feel like I'm doing okay.
Yeah, so that's a win for you. It's certainly notable, actually, that I think when you see people reporting the results, it's so often they're saying, such close games, could have gone either way. Just one roll here and there. Seems. And
normally I say that just because, to not seem like a dick.
To be nice. but you don't really mean it.
Yeah. This
That's
time
all I
I
think to do.
I think we can all see through that charade.
Yeah, I beat him on turn 3, but it was down to rolls,
Yeah. I got so lucky with that pull
It's
of
so
Becky Lynch
lucky.
on turn 3.
Now, James, you've been flexing your competitive muscles again, but you've had to bail because work and life and everything else has got a bit busy.
Flexing is not really the right word.
Tell us about your experience.
Straining. Pulling.
Yes, indeed, pulling. So teams, I had a Master Mold team and what's the other one? Jesus, Thor with Lita, added Lita, which turns out to be I've been saying for ages, I'm determined to get it to work. I've now realised that it's not really viable.
So expensive.
And okay, so I played Elliot and Relentless Nettles, Mike, I think, and it was fun enough, but I found it really hard to schedule matches. I've just been super busy at the moment, and when you have to make a sort of choice between playing the game and keeping your wife happy because your time is really full otherwise, then it stops being quite as much fun as it should be. So sadly, before I even played Nick, it wasn't Nick's fault at all.
No.
I was supposed to play Nick, and I was sort of quite wanted to play, but really it just couldn't happen. And I quit, and there's no shame in that. I'll try again sometime. But I think the ongoing commitment of it, I understand that it can be fun, but if you haven't got time for it, it is definitely quite demanding, I think.
Yes, obviously it's very important to get your game wife balance in good order, isn't it?
Game wife bird balance, let's be clear.
Oh, yeah, yes, yes. Talking
It's a
about the
difficult
avian
toss-up.
variety.
It's a bit of a difficult toss-up between kind of like, the kind of ongoing weeks of tournament play like this is versus the kind of one-day one-shots.
Yes.
And there's good and bad qualities to both, but definitely scheduling is an issue for this format. But it is nice, like you said, Smug, to have a game, regularly.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoy having a game to look forward to each week and someone to get a match against. It seems like I invariably end up playing North American opponents, and obviously being in the UK, that makes scheduling a bit more challenging because often they're available in the evening, and then that's like 1 o'clock in the morning for me, so it's not really very practical. But we can normally make it work at the weekends, and that's always good. If they don't mind getting up a bit early, that's always helpful. I can get them out of bed and maybe catch them unawares before they've woken up. It's all part of the Grandmaster plan. But yeah, I've been playing. So we are we're in the fourth round, aren't we, at the moment? Fourth round of 5. There are 32 players taking part. I decided that I wanted to try playing Master Mold, which has been really good, and but then I sort of threw together a kind of Hope Phoenix sort of beast ramp sort of mutant research program thing that just takes way too long to get going, and has really nothing in the way of removal or kind of control. Well, I've got Pip, but he's just a bit too slow because it takes too long to get to him with my team. So that's been pretty disastrous. But when I did play against somebody who brought the front line, that was lovely because I was able to buy that, and it worked really well because using the rare Phoenix copied with Hope, then they basically couldn't block anything because that rare Phoenix enables says characters with an A of 4 or less can't block when that Phoenix attacks. So that was interesting. So I'm 1 and 2 at the moment, basically because I haven't been able to win with my second team. But I kind of knew that, I knew it wasn't going to be the most competitive team. I knew it wasn't going to be playing at the top, and I was just happy to be playing and trying something different and enjoying the game. So
it's a really varied meta, isn't it?
It is.
There seems to be lots of different teams that are available, lots of different win conditions. So should we talk about some of them?
Let's do it. What are your observations, Ben?
Frontline.
The Frontline, yes.
Frontline's
I know
the thing.
it was a thing with what's his face, James Ultraman, wasn't it?
Ultraman, your favourite.
Indeed, yeah.
So he says unblock characters. There's a 5-cost basic action card that says unblock characters deal +3 damage, isn't it? +3 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. +3 attack.
Yeah, +3 attack.
+3 attack if not blocked.
That's the one. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And that's that has been making a bit of a resurgence. Yeah. So I think Troy Yort over on Discord has been doing a bit of data mining, and he's been crunching the numbers to see what are the most popular cards. And, or perhaps unsurprisingly, Clayface with that global is on 26 teams. And given that there's only 32 players in the whole tournament, that means there's only 6 players in the whole tournament that haven't got Clayface on one team or another. But Mr. Sinister is in second place with 21 teams.
Do they know whether that the rare Mr. Sinister, if they want to do anything different?
That's a good question, actually. I think it is the same one because I think they did it by card number.
Yeah, so
it must be the rare.
That Mr. Sinister rare, which is the pay 2 generic energy, then field psychic and prep psychic, is working beautifully in tandem with the Frontline. I saw it slightly before the tournament. J. Lucero played a couple of games online with him.
Oh yeah.
And he had it set up. I think he did 18 damage on turn 3 or 4 or something crazy.
Yeah.
And just could have done it if he'd set it up properly. And throughout the rest of the tournament, everyone else seems to have definitely had that same idea or same thought. And those two in tandem with each other is just frightening, because you can buy the Frontline, although it's 5 cost, with Thor Global and Dark Phoenix Global.
Yeah.
You get it really quickly. And that Miss Sinister can really clear out your field, use piles, and make that rotation very, very efficient.
Yeah, and then with Hope kind of copying Phoenix to make that cheaper, when Hope's only 3, it makes making things unblockable not that hard.
My game against Elliot today, he basically just did Frontline and Villainous Pact pivot. So I kind of walled up.
Very good.
The problem with the Frontline team is if someone realizes you're playing it, you can kind of wall up.
Yeah.
So you have to have that other way around.
Yeah.
And so he bought Villainous Pact as a kind of pivot piece, which is quite clever. So yeah, you have to have that secondary option. The other thing, I suppose, is that with Rare Sinister and the Frontline, because it's a basic action, you can do the same thing back to them.
Yes.
Without bringing any cards for yourself, which is interesting.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I see that from the stats. 11 teams has the Frontline, so approximately a third of
surprising, because I didn't even really think about it. I don't know how. I mean, we knew it was a good card. It was a good card with Ultraman. But I think the fact that Mr. Sinister is probably the best ramp in the game currently.
Yeah, for sure.
Also gives you this wall of sidekicks. You can basically win without buying anything other than the Frontline and fielding sidekicks.
Yeah. It's very cool. I note that, interestingly, Hope's on 20 teams. Thor is on 15 teams, but I wonder if that's more for his global, because people are using it for Godcatcher and the Frontline and that kind of thing. You know, the pay a bolt, your next action die costs 2 less. Yeah, Godcatcher, yeah.
I don't see that many Godcatchers.
That's true.
In the list.
No, that's true too, yeah.
I wonder if the tokens vote got split between Godcatcher and Master Mold.
Maybe. Yeah.
There's 10 Master Molds.
Master Mold on 10 teams. I think my Master Mold team's been going well.
Would you run a Master Mold team for one and then a Godcatcher team for your second team? I don't think you would have done 2 token teams.
No, that's right, yeah. No, that's right. I certainly wouldn't have done that. But it is interesting to see that. And the most popular control piece is Typhoid Mary on 15 teams.
I know. How do you feel? How do you all feel about Typhoid now that she's had a year in the meta?
Peter?
I never use her. It's a lot more balanced than Shriek ever was. That's for sure. But she's harder to get rid of, though. She has higher defense. When she's out there, it's annoying.
She is.
Yeah, it can be super effective. I still sometimes build teams that have like one focal point, and if that gets shut down, I have nothing. So don't play Typhoid Mary against me, please.
But I think that do you think it's overbalanced in a way? It's too much now.
I mean, what you think? Too expensive?
Too expensive. 4 cost with the
double energy requirement. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it is pretty well balanced. I mean, I think I agree with Peter that a 3 cost bolt is too cheap for what she did.
Yeah.
It seemed to be the case when it came out that it was quite popular in North America and not that popular in Europe. I don't know if that's still the case. We don't have names attached to these numbers.
No, we don't.
I mean, have you seen any European players playing Typhoid?
Typhoid.
She's on my Master Mold team.
Ah,
yeah,
splitter.
That's unusual because don't know but also is the meta so different now that the while active control pieces aren't as because even Drax, is still very annoying.
Yeah,
but there's so much good removal.
Yeah,
that is a while active control piece not as viable anymore. Like, what's the point of spending your money on Drax?
Yeah,
getting in the field only for it to be rolled away by Danny or by Becky or by Pip or by Spider-Man or you know what I mean?
True.
Like
I do.
The one piece like catch all mechanic that so easily stopped Mimic Ramp or so easily stopped Collector or Fix It. Those win conditions aren't as prevalent. All the win conditions sort of the token win conditions, I suppose stopping a Master Mold might be worth it. But everyone else has so much more removal alongside those kind of big one win condition pieces. Yeah,
they do. I mean, it's definitely true that it's harder to keep stuff in the field. I think maybe, on the real top tier teams, when they're kind of trying to almost outrace each other because they're finely tuned, something that slows down your opponent for a turn or two can be useful, but then obviously that also slows you down as well. So that's
what I mean. The
Shriek
fit in very nicely to a purchase curve with the 3 cost.
Yeah.
But with just 4 energy, you can't guarantee if you're rolling, you can't buy it turn 1 with any kind of reliability, that Typhoid.
Yeah. No, true. That's certainly true. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what do you think? Are you edging towards thinking that she's not well balanced? She's too kind of costly now. Is that what you think, Ben? Is that what you're getting at here?
I kind of like to do a tournament where you're allowed to use the 3 cost Shriek in Modern, but that was the only edition. Basically, you swap Shriek in for Typhoid. Right. You didn't have to have it on your team, but you could if you wanted to.
Everybody would.
I know, but then I'd like to see how effective she was.
Yeah, because she get rolled out.
Because if they have a Master Mold and then a Drax, or a Godcatcher and a Thor, what do you blank?
Yeah, quite. Yeah, I mean, in Golden, you can find out. She ain't banned, is she, in Golden? But nobody really plays Golden anymore. It's too sprawling.
Then also in Golden, there's so many more. Then you open up, like, Collector again, and then you open up all this other stuff that's really good, really strong, kind of while active win conditions. Whereas all our current win conditions are kind of smash your face in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in this tournament, I think people are trying to do other stuff, aren't they? I mean, there's Colossus and well, you're playing Iceman, aren't you?
So Iceman and Julie, but they're both quite aggressive. Like, they're both teams that allow you to go aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is Colossus working? Has anybody played against it? How fast is it?
I
haven't yet, but I'm about to tomorrow. So I'll let you know. I'm halfway through my round 4 match against Super K, Kim from the Double N Dice. Hello if you're listening, probably not, but hello if you are. And we are locked at 1-1, but we ran out of time last night to finish our game, so we're going to finish tomorrow. So that should be good. Looking forward to that. The other piece that I should mention, I say that Typhoid Mary is the most popular control piece. Gazer is also on 15 teams. Probably because of the token removal. Yeah, exactly. With the people playing Master.
But not only that, but like then you, again, it's just another piece of control. Like throw that on your team.
Yeah.
They've spent 4 to buy their Typhoid Mary. You have a Gazer.
Yeah.
It cycles very easily because it has 1 defense on everything but the top level.
Yeah.
And you just remove it for a turn. And you have that piece anyway to remove God Catchers or Master Mold tokens.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like he's almost becoming an auto-include for a lot of teams because he's so useful at just getting rid of stuff, and he's quite difficult. You know, if someone's going to blank something, are they going to blank Gazer? Probably not. Not unless they are, pumping out loads of tokens.
Well, I played Rob Pettifor from Breath Weapon X.
Yeah.
And he had the John Cena that stops Intimidate.
Oh, right.
He tried to go for that, but it's a 4 cost to deal with a 2 cost problem.
Yeah, it's not very well balanced, is it, in terms of the cost?
That card is very interesting, that John Cena, but I think it's so specific that just deals with one thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's John Cena. You can't field me.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
with his horrific fielding cost.
The sanitation leader? Sanitation.
Undoubtedly.
He is effectively a janitor.
It's the CE Nation. The C Nation leader.
Yeah. I'm sure the WWE fans are hopping up in madness at our mispronunciation of these terms. But
as Intimidate, and then while John Cena is active, your superstar dice cannot be targeted by Intimidate.
Yeah.
It's so expensive. It's just like...
and as James...
1, 2, 3 fielding.
Yeah, which is horrendous. So that's... because obviously one of his other versions is called You Can't See Me, but obviously James is riffing off of that, aren't you, James?
James is a massive John Cena fan.
The best way to make a joke funny is to explain it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you like his rap music, James?
Do you want to tell it again now so people can laugh?
No, you're right. You're right.
So what other things have we noticed? Any other teams that have kind of jumped out of us that we want to give a shout out to?
I want to reiterate how annoyed I am that everyone else is playing Danny. I feel like people shouldn't be allowed to play it other than me. And maybe Yort, maybe Troy, because he started playing it as well.
Oh, how rude!
He kind of originated the just Danny removal team thing.
He did with Spider-Man, and you can actually hear all about that on our YouTube channel, can't you, James?
Indeed, on the Chronicles series, he did one of them on his annoying Spider-Man team. Yeah,
so he's allowed to play Danny, and I'm allowed to play Danny. No one else.
Now, talking of York, I played against him in round 1, and we had 3 very nice games. But he had a lovely team with using the 12 cost Supreme Intelligence. Great fun. And Eldritch Blast. And now, Eldritch Blast, for those who are not familiar with it, I'm just going to find the text just so I get it exactly right. It says, draw a die. It's a 4-cost basic action. Draw a die from your bag. Deal damage to target character die or player equal to its purchase cost. Return the die to your bag. Basically, what he was doing was buying 2 copies of Eldritch Blast, and then buying also a copy. His other basic action was Page Manager from WWE. He's a 5-cost basic action card that says each player may add one of their unpurchased dice to their bag. And he was then using Mr. Sinister to ramp like Billio and basically remove everything else from his bag, etc. So that he got to roll all 3 of those action dice at the same time. And if he hits on all of them, he can use Page to put the Supreme Intelligence in his bag, and then he can use the first Eldritch Blast to draw it out of his bag because his bag is empty, and then put it back, and then use the second one to do it again. So that's 24 damage, game over. I was I felt privileged to be on the receiving end of a different WinCon that I hadn't seen before. It was good fun. And Ben, I think Shadowmeld Patrick's been doing a Stone of Golor team that's
we
in
haven't
the same
seen
kind
I
of
think
vein.
any of us have seen it up and running, but apparently it's similar. I think in intention to what you just described. But it's very. I suppose Peter, you did a team like that very similarly, didn't you?
I made a golden team that won on turn 3 with these basic actions. Yes, we have a video.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Put the link in the show notes.
Oh, indeed. So Shadowmeld's team has his point of difference is that he has Stone of Golor, which is a 5-cost action die,
so your opponent can't
not
buy
a basic action. Yeah, so your opponent can't buy it, and he still has Page as well. But he then uses the 2-cost Storm from X-Men Forever that says when fielded, you may re-roll target action die in your reserve pool. So he can use Clayface he can buy the basic action or the action using Thor to get a discount, and then he can use Clayface to put it in his reserve pool, and then he can roll it using Storm if he fields it. So there's a lot of things have to go right, but then he can use its action. So it's I think he's been doing it that way, which sounds good fun. So yeah, it's good to see these different sort of teams emerging.
It is. It's one of it's a very difficult win condition to stop as well.
Yeah, because you can't blank it.
You can't blank. Yeah, you can't blank the action. It all happens in their main step. It all happens basically without you being able to do anything. Yeah. No,
that's exactly what happened for me when I was playing against Troy. I had my second kind of team, and he was just, I wasn't able to win while he was lining all his stuff up, and I just knew that we were just waiting for him to roll the right combination of dice, and then he was going to win. It was
you maybe give up a little bit of that consistency, and you're relying a little bit more on luck of the rolls.
Yeah.
In favor of your opponent can't do anything. Your opponent can't do anything about it.
Yeah. But otherwise, I mean, Becky is still proving to be very strong. That's fair to say, isn't it? She's on 13 different teams, and
I mean, the thing is, Becky and both Becky and Thor have really, really useful globals that you probably have on a myriad of teams anyway.
Yeah.
The fact they are also providing, like Shadowmeld has that Thor, which I'm sure at some point he'll pivot to if something's not going right for him. So the fact that it comes with the global is very useful anyway, and then also, hey, I have this other win condition, which works great with Mr. Sinister. Yeah. They're like the frontline team. Like, you have the Thor just to make their frontline cheaper, and hey, they somehow managed to stop that. Well, now I can buy a Thor and just field one cycles with Sinister.
Yeah. Indeed, yeah. So it's good to see some different stuff going on and experience some different teams. Loads of these matches are being streamed, aren't they? I mean, there's quite a few players in the tournament who are streamers. There's like Ronathan, PXPX on his Twitch. I'm sure that Collector Rob, Breath Weapon X, is streaming his games. Super K's been doing hers.
Yeah, I believe he streamed ours.
James has not been doing his. I should probably take this opportunity to mention the fact that every time when you release a new podcast, obviously it comes out in the regular format, but it also gets automatically packed up and posted onto YouTube. And every time one appears on YouTube, because I haven't been doing anything else lately, because partly of reasons and partly because I've just been really busy. So the only videos that have been there recently have been the with audio only podcast things, which is obviously good for some people. So I'm quite happy to put it there because some people would, prefer to have it in that format. But I think a lot of people don't like it because it's just audio really. It pops up and they think, what the hell is this? And every time it happens, another 2 people unsubscribe. I know, but what can you do? So sorry about that, everybody, but
Well, we might have to start making some videos with some actual pictures.
We might. We might have to do that.
That might solve the problem of people unsubscribing.
Easy to say.
It is. I know. Time and all that. Good stuff. All right. Well, was there anything else that people wanted to mention in this, or shall we move on? We should probably just say that the tournament continues. There's going to be 5 rounds in total, so we'll update you on the winner when we get to that point. Otherwise, shall we move on to the next segment? Okay, well, In-Person Dice Masters is back once more, and this time we are looking forward to, well, Ben particularly is looking forward to the UK Games Expo, where on Saturday, the 4th of June, the fellas over at the Ministry of Dice are going to be running an in-person Dice Masters event with some great prizes, if I'm not mistaken. And we are sending our intrepid correspondent, Ben Sidescott, to go and cover the event and even play in it and maybe come back with a few prizes. Ben, what can you tell us about the event? What kind of format is it going to be and what's going on?
Yeah, I believe you're covering my... stay, aren't you? The hotels and travel.
Yes, you can put it down. Put it on expenses, and we will pay it out of the fortune that we're getting in Brave
sleeping
rewards.
On Central Station.
Lucky, you know what I get up to on Saturday nights. Yes, I am going. It's very exciting. It's always a great time at UK Games Expo playing. I mean, it's a cool convention anyway. The fact that it's also host regularly to Dice Masters in the UK is also a bonus.
Yeah.
It's quite nice, really, because normally on Saturdays afternoons, the actual convention hall itself gets really rammed. So it's nice to have like a thing where I can just be like, I'm going to do this on Saturday afternoon. I don't have to worry about trying to fight the crowd to just play other games.
Yeah.
I can play my favourite game.
And it's become such a massive event. I mean, I remember going, I don't remember what year it was, maybe about 2013, 14, something like that. And it was relatively small. They didn't even have anything going on the Friday. I remember going on the Friday and there was just a bit of open gaming, and that was it in the hotel. Yeah, and it was all just contained in the hotel itself.
Air hangers now.
Yeah, now it's in the big old NEC, massive rooms, and there's like, I don't know, 20,000 people or something, or more than that, I think.
They said 450 exhibitors this year.
Really? Good grief.
Wow.
So it's making a triumphant return. And what's the format of the event? Because obviously we don't have Dark Phoenix Saga officially launched in Europe yet, so that's not legal, is it, Ben?
No. So it's all out. Bring any kind of smashy face you want to, apart from Dark Phoenix stuff. Which is a bit annoying because I just... gratefully received an influx of some Dark Phoenix cards from Chero.
You did.
I did. Yes. So I'm kind of like, I kind of want to play with some of them now.
Yeah.
Of course, if they hadn't arrived, I'd kind of be like, yeah, good. Yeah, let's not play. Let's not play with that. So I think it's probably fair enough. It's just modern, not including Dark Phoenix, although that's non-legal.
Yeah. But they have got, not only have they managed to get some Dark Phoenix draft packs in so they can do a draft for the players who are going to be taking part immediately after the event. They've also got an OP kit, if I'm not mistaken, that's going to be part of the prize pool for the main event itself.
Yeah, they got a bunch of stuff. So they got an OP kit of the Hellfire Gala.
Yeah.
Which I think is going to be shared out amongst a few players.
That's going to be pretty sought after.
It is. Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to try and get one of the copies of Hellfire Gala. There's 2 copies, so I have to decide which one I'm aiming for. I might throw the first game if the second. I want the green one, so the magazine cover one. I want that one, so I might, throw.
Well, surely winner gets first pick, eh? Winner gets first pick, surely.
But also, Dark Phoenix, you get all the rares in foil.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Which is pretty good because the rares, as we discussed on our review, probably the best card in the set.
Yeah, they are.
Also,
good. Yes,
we have some Dark Phoenix actual physical booster draft packs to actually play some draft games with. So yeah, super sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it should be a really good afternoon. It starts, so if you going to give us a bit of an insight into what you're thinking in terms of testing and playing, and maybe what you might be.
I was very happy with my team until I tested against Spug a few days ago and lost 2 games and came very close to losing a 3rd game. I think the big 3 are Becky, Thor, and Godcatcher.
The Godcatcher, yeah.
I don't like Godcatcher.
No.
I didn't have a Thor, although, again, I had a recent arrival of that. Thank you very much, Ronathan, for that. So I might maybe throw something with that in. I don't know. Probably Becky in some kind of variation. She is, in my opinion, even if Dark Phoenix was legal, Becky would still be, in my opinion, the best win condition.
Yeah.
So probably that. Although it's a bit cheap playing Becky, isn't it?
It is, but it kind of...
Probably Danny as well. I'm going to play Danny, so there you go.
Yeah.
Just go Danny Spider-Man Frontline. Oh no, that's not legal yet.
No, Frontline is not legal.
I'd play Yort's team from Worlds. Online Worlds, that was still legal.
Annoy the pants off everybody as James wrote in the Chronicles.
Yeah, so I'm expecting to see the big 3. And yeah, it's always a good time to play with everyone who normally goes, and hopefully see some of you there.
Yeah, I really wish that I could come, but I cannot. I'm
too scared.
I'm too scared.
Your boots after you beat me handily.
No, I mean, obviously it is the Queen's Platinum Jubilee weekend, so clearly I'm going to be at the Paris.
You're invited to the Paris.
Will you be nice?
I asked if we could switch it, but she said no because she's just got too many things lined up for that particular weekend. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it on this occasion. But James, what do you reckon?
Oh, Spug. Spuglet. What?
Thank you for that. You probably get your head chopped off if you did much more of that, I should imagine, if you're not careful.
I'm no longer resident. I'm not on the jurisdiction.
No, you're not. No, you're not even in the Commonwealth, are you? What would you expect to see, James, if you were playing in that particular tournament?
Good God, you're asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
You just played Godcatcher.
Yeah, well, I think Ben's covered it pretty handily already, to be honest.
Yeah.
Godcatcher,
the usual,
probably together with Thor, and Becky together, perhaps with Danny, and those horrible basic actions. The ringside announcers, and that's it.
Job done.
Some people who don't care about winning will play other things.
There's so much smashy face, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
there is.
I'd like to see some, maybe... I expect to see lots of static fields. I expect to see... I'd like to see a Hope Rachel team.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's become stronger now. So maybe people will be put off trying it.
The problem with Hope Rachel is she can't survive Becky's fielding generally, can she, if she gets rolled out?
Yeah, that's why Becky's so good, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Peter, what would you advise? What would Dr. Von der Velde advise that Ben plays in his team?
It's actually really hard to predict what people will play, actually, because you would expect the big 3. There isn't really any off-meta team that could win, I guess. So you should be prepared for those 3.
Yeah,
I do like that. I just think about that off-meta. The Rob Pettifor played that weird
Adam Warlock.
Adam Warlock thing.
Yeah,
that apparently that was Jason's team. I don't know if that he commented on the pod, so on the podcast page.
Well, whoever's
I don't know,
team that is,
I don't want to take it away from Rob. He was complaining.
Okay, well, Jason, yes. I mean, it could be anyone. They're very good. They're both very good builders. So yeah, whoever's team that was, very cool team.
What does it do, Ben?
The idea is Adam Warlock. When you spend a die that has an energized ability. Well, I suppose when you or your opponent spend a die that has an energized ability, you can re-roll that die and trigger the energized effect again. So you pair that with the Black Widow, which lets you spin down characters, or even the Doctor Strange Rare, I believe, which lets you spin out 2 characters.
Yeah.
And then you can do it on your opponent's turn. And it takes a bit of a time to set up with Oscar. And all those characters I previously mentioned being masked characters, and Oscar reducing all masked characters by 2. It's pretty bonkers and very good on your opponent's turn removal, which we keep saying is very useful and difficult to deal with. Yeah.
Well, it'll be cool. I mean, these Ministry of Dice events, they do encourage a bit of different team building, so I imagine we will get a variety of teams, although I bet there will be some smashy face teams, because people have got one eye on the Hellfire Gala.
Yeah, under surveillance.
OP kit.
Under surveillance Godcatcher will be a thing.
Yeah, it will. I mean, Static Field. I suppose you've got
at least there's
the answer.
no Gladiator Global.
Yes, but you still got the Istrid Horn and the Eddie, which are very strong.
Eddie, well.
You can still use both of them. So
yeah. True, but still more difficult to line up than a global.
Yeah.
Tis, yes.
Well, we look forward to hearing your report back from that event, Ben. So it all takes place on Saturday, 4th of June. Is it 1:00 start, I think? So if you've got a ticket for the UK Games Expo, or if you want to buy a ticket for the UK Games Expo, then you can find it on their website, and all the information will be found on the Ministry of Dice website. We can put a link to that in the show notes. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next segment. Well, Doctor Strange is back in cinemas. Benedict Cumberbatch is ruling supreme as our favourite sorcerer, and he's flying through multiverses, and all kind of bizarre things are going on. Have we seen the film? Have we enjoyed it, guys?
I have not. I'll be seeing it this weekend.
Right. So no spoilers. Ben?
Next week.
James?
I do want to say Moon Knight's terrible again.
I don't do cinemas, so apparently it's coming to Disney Plus.
Yeah, next month.
The rest of the world.
Is it? Good grief. Oh, so I'm the only one who's seen it so far. Okay, well that makes having a conversation about it way easier.
I'll draw some pictures for you.
I'll just tell you what I think. Okay. No, I won't tell you what I think. I will look forward to discussing it more with you later.
Is it better or worse than Moon Knight?
Oh, well, they're totally different because that's a TV
One's
show.
One's terrible.
No, it's not terrible. I enjoyed Moon Knight. But anyway.
No. You definitely need to watch on, Ben. I agree with what Spug said. I don't know if he said it on air last time, but it was right.
No, I don't know. I stopped watching after 3 episodes.
So episode 4, though, is a belter.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Just like Moon Knight's cards. The program is terrible.
Please
let's talk about some good cards.
Please watch Moon Knight episode 4, just because it takes an unexpected turn, to say the least. But we're not here to talk about Moon Knight.
Probably best to watch the first 3 first, not start with
You'd be really.
You haven't missed any. Just watch really bad people doing really bad English accents, and then you've seen episode 1.
Oh, well, I don't think it is that bad, though, Ben.
No.
It's bloody brilliant.
He's like, all right, isn't he, mate? Come on, old Stephen, you muppet. Anyway, let's stop talking about Moon Knight and talk about Doctor Strange, because that's what we're here for. And we want to pick out our favourite version of Doctor Strange. Can someone tell me how many iterations of Doctor Strange, here's your quiz question, have there been in Dice Masters since the game began in the days of AVX?
16.
Yeah.
Well done, James.
The team builder tells me it's 16.
Transition zone in my case.
How many sets has it been in, though?
5.
One, two,
It sort of makes sense if it's 16.
Yes, it does, yes.
Can you name his dice stats off by heart?
Oh,
I can read them from my phone.
Yes,
it has had this. It hasn't had the same stats for every die, though. There was the.
No, it hasn't, has it? Top side.
Not.
Oh yeah. What is it? What's DS? Deadpool.
That's strange.
Doctor Strange.
Obviously,
yeah.
it's Doctor Strange.
that has a different picture as well.
It did.
Yeah.
It was a trick.
Oh, yeah,
Fences.
He had his hair, his head with the white stuff in it.
Yeah.
But what was different about? Oh, right. That's interesting actually, because on the team builder, the level 2 stats are slightly mistaken.
The fielding costs are different. The stats, I think, are the same.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's the Doctor Strange and the team that what's it called? The Defenders.
Defenders team pack.
155, 267, 289.
Yes.
So the fielding cost tops out at 2.
Yeah.
And then the other stats are 146, which is lower, 258, which is different, and 389, which is the same but a high fielding cost.
Yeah.
Very
exactly. Yeah, it is kind of strange. And he's almost all in Doctor Strange and the Defenders, he's a shield character, isn't he? But he's a mask in all the others.
Yeah. That's
but so of these 16 different versions, which do we like best? Peter, what are you picking out as your fave Sorcerer Supreme? Even though I know that in the MCU, Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme, let's ignore that for the moment.
Currently, but
yeah.
I am going to go with the OG Doctor Strange, Master of the Mystic Arts from AVX. Yeah. It's really cool. He was the first to do something that dealt damage whenever you used an action die. So he was sort of the prototype for things like Attune and Boom Boom.
Yeah.
And I played against someone using that and with all sorts of discount things to get to him quickly and then use a bunch of action dice. And it was just so cool to see it work. I mean, he was really expensive at 6.
Mm-hmm.
But then he always is.
It was just, basically. Yeah. And it sort of set the tone for his general action die affinity.
Yeah, it says a lot that we were using this Doctor Strange, or when I was anyway, this Doctor Strange with gearing up, which was the 6 cost, to gearing up with a 4 cost. Yeah. And it's still pretty fun compared to, like, rewind a few years into the future, we were using Yanti, which you didn't even have to, like, roll the action. You could just buy a 1 cost action to do damage. Like, that's the acceleration of the action die kind of thing. But it all started with this card, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was. No, he's good. And I mean, many of us feel a little bit sort of misty-eyed and when we start looking at some of the old AVX stuff, don't we? Mm-hmm. The art's terrible.
This die was so pretty, though. The kind of colour.
It's nice. Yeah, that was definitely a standout. James, what are you picking out as your fave Strange?
I'm going with the Doctor Strange team pack. It's a 7-cost shield. It's the Hoary Hosts of Hoggoth.
By the Hoary Hosts of Hoggoth.
Just for the title.
Entirely for the name. That's correct.
Well, if you've picked it, you're going to have to explain what a hoary host exactly is.
Yeah, I did Google that. I can't remember that.
You are the English teacher among us.
I had to close all my windows because the recording equipment was playing up. So, don't know, but it's great. That's one of the... I'm not that big a Doctor Strange fan, in the comics at least. Actually, better in the films so far. But I did like the silly names, and I think that's one of the silliest. So, not to mention the Wand of Watum. But yeah, that one. It does. There's not even any point reading what it does because it's rubbish. But
that's all right.
Great.
No, well, I've just done a bit of Googling, and Google tells me that the hoary hosts of Hoggoth are... Oh, hello. Oh, now I'm getting loads of adverts. Oh, go away.
It's going to be a very difficult dual
adverts
for
virus alert.
For hoary hosts.
in Hoggoth.
Better
in the comics
than hoary.
Okay,
it's not
the
school that Harry Potter went to, right?
Calm down, everybody. Right. So in the MCU universe wiki, it says in the comics, the hoary host of Hoggoth are a magical spell that harness the power of Hoggoth the Hoary. a member, a member of the omnipotent Vishanti alongside Oshtur and Agamotto.
That sounds familiar. That's what I found out and instantly forgot it. So it's very uninformative.
Still doesn't explain what the word hoary actually means. Hoary actually means greyish white, it turns out.
Is it like a hoarfrost?
A colour.
The same hoary as that?
Yeah. Don't know, but it just... Well, it says
hoary.
Greyish white or overused and unoriginal. Oh. Maybe a bit like some of our content.
Hoary is an old English word that comes from whore, which shares its meanings. Both words refer to anything that is old or that has the whitened look of age. So it will be the same as hoarfrost.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for... In Dictionary Corner, we've had James. Okay, well, for me, I think I'm going to have to pick the Doctor Strange Time Gem from the Infinity Gauntlet expansion, because he has the distinction of being the only Doctor Strange character in the entirety of Dice Masters that doesn't cost 6 or 7. He's an absolute bargain at 4 cost, even cheaper if you buy him with Oscar. And he is a comment that says, energize, draw, and roll a die. That die can't be re-rolled this turn. And then he has a force attack global using the mask. But then he has these bonkers Doctor Strange stats. 1, 4, 6, 2, 5, 8, 3, 8, 9. Which for a 4 cost is lovely jubbly, I think. To use a phrase that someone's been dying to use. Not that Stephen would say that, I have to point out. I don't mean Stephen Strange, I mean Stephen. Stephen. What's his surname? Stephen from Moon Knight. Anyway,
Stephen Grant.
Stephen Grant, thank you. I'm glad that someone's been paying attention. But he's my favourite, partly because he's cheap and he's got a decent ability, and then you just get mad stats. And then if you put him with the Wong from the same set, who gets a 2 buff, a +2 A buff when Doctor Strange is active, that makes his 2 cost fist character up to a 6 attack, then that's really cool when they're working together.
But you probably shouldn't use 2 Wongs, right?
And why would that be, James?
Answers on a postcard, please. Moving on.
All right. Ben, I think it's just for you, is it, to pick your fave?
Tis. Yeah, I think all the Infinity Gauntlet, like James said, all the Infinity Gauntlet ones are pretty good. It does feel a little bit wrong to have a mask force attack global. Doesn't seem very masky to me.
Although that was the original, wasn't it, with Mr. Fantastic?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
There were 2 originals. There was a Bolt.
Yeah. Mr. Fantastic came before Phoenix. No, it was Jean Grey.
No, it's the same set.
Yeah.
No, alphabetically, I was going to say. But Jean Grey. Anyway, but still, masked force attack feels a little bit wrong. But we've already mentioned the rare as well. And the super rare was kind of interesting. Although I think Infinity Gauntlet, what are they called? The affiliation.
Yeah, Infinity Watch.
Infinity Watch, thank you. Yeah, when you field one of those, you can re-roll target character die. Kind of interesting. But I'm going to plump for one from Avengers. What are they called?
Infinity.
Yeah. Yeah, not Infinity Gauntlet. Sorry, I was confused. Never Have You Known His Like, which again is a 7 cost Avenger. While Doctor Strange is active when an action die is used, you may use a copy of its effect. You may choose new targets for the copy. Still modern legal, still very interesting.
Yes.
Use it with stuff like Betrayal or even ramp stuff like Investigation that we have now. Bring some basic actions that you want to use, and your opponent might buy them, and you can use them when they do it. So double usage out of your actions is very useful, very interesting. 7 costs probably a bit too much, but still very useful. Yeah,
that is cool. That is good. I mean, obviously unbelievably expensive. But I don't know.
Even for a 7 cost, 8-9 is pretty good. The 389, that
it is. Yeah.
The 9 is so interesting Just wonderful. He could deal with a Hulk. Doctor Strange could deal with a Hulk. It was so weird.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he kind of almost dealt with Thanos, didn't he? Not quite in the movies, but he couldn't quite pull it off. But he's pretty good, and he's got some great versions there. So let us know what your favourite version of Doctor Strange is. Is there one that we've missed from this little list? One of the 16 that you particularly love, that you wished we talked about? Do let us know by dropping us a line using the contact details at the end of the show. Otherwise, we're just going to move on to a bit of AOB. Right, all kinds of stuff to mention in the AOB. The first is spoilers. There have been so many spoilers coming from this seeming accidental leak of Kryptonite Crisis set stuff. And James, you have been beavering away. What have you been doing?
I've been cropping. I've been in a cropping frenzy. And I've updated the spoilers page, and we are left with only three uncommons not seen and 3 super rares, which we don't actually know what the characters are yet, as far as I know, and 2 full art basic action cards we haven't seen, assuming there are 4 of them. But otherwise, we have a complete set apart from those 6 cards.
Yeah. So, and that's all available where, James? Where would you find that?
It's on the website, which is dmunited.eu, and you go to sets and spoilers, or there's a link on the front page. I'm sure you'll find it. I shall also put one in the show notes.
Please do. Yes, so if you want to find the most complete list of Superman Kryptonite Crisis spoilers available on the internet, then do go and have a look there. Also, there's news about Worlds. Now, after a hiatus of, what is it? Is it 3 years? When was it last held? Was it 2019?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Ben, you have been there. You should know. You should definitely know. That should be almost
2019, I think.
2019 was the last time. Well, and Worlds are going to be back. They are returning to Memphis, Tennessee on the weekend of 17th of September. But WizKids have announced this time that it's also going to be packaged up with US Nats on the same weekend, which I think some people have found a little controversial. Guys, what do we think about this?
Was it
not like that last time?
No.
No, not at Memphis. No, Worlds normally happens at Origins. Sorry, US Nationals normally happens at Origins. And then they also had. I mean, I say normally, it's not happened that often. But they used to also have Worlds at Origins as well. So there was, I think, a couple of years where it happened back to back on different days.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's logical for them, given kind of logistical things. The fact they're having their own event, they may as well make the most of it and run these 2 kind of things. It seems to make sense to me. Although
it's kind of US Nats squared, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not really Worlds because we're not there.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I think Nats was also sort of a qualifying tournament for Worlds.
It was a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're free and you can make your way to Graceland Exhibition Center in Memphis,
really
Tennessee,
cool.
You've been there,
the ghost of Elvis.
I mean, it's just a really cool place in general. Lots of fun. They do a fan appreciation event, and they do various things going on over the weekend.
Yes, so it's Thursday, September the 15th to Sunday, the 18th of September. There's going to be the US National Championship, the World Championship. They say rainbow drafts, special fan-focused events, and much, much more. So they promise that before the weekend is out, your dice bag will be all shook up. I think that's an Elvis. I think that's an Elvis gag, isn't it? But yeah. So there we go. So that's what's going to be happening. So if you're available, then do get along. Otherwise, what other bits have we got to mention? Dice Fight. There's some Dice Fight going on. If you want some more online dice action, Thursday nights, 9 p.m. UK time. James, what have we got in the books for the next couple of weeks?
June the 2nd is the first Thursday of the month and is therefore Legacy. We are apparently up to Legacy 27.
Wow. 27.
It's been running for more than 2 years.
That's
impressive.
How has that happened?
And on June, go for that. And June the 9th, I'm not sure this is set in stone, but I've got on the webpage, Strictly Golden, The Good Old Days. Strictly Golden.
Are they going back to the 1930s?
I feel like I feel Rick's hand in this, but the good old days, I assume, means it's golden, but without all of modern, presumably. I don't know if it means without silver as well, but certainly without modern. We'll have to check that. Excellent. And it's a red event, so yeah.
Gird your loins.
Pulling no punches.
No, indeed. Okay, well, that's Thursday nights, 9 p.m. UK time. All we need is a webcam, a link to the Discord server, which we can put in the show notes. Otherwise, I think that's going to be pretty much the end of this episode. It's been great to have you with us. If you've enjoyed it, then it would be lovely if you could like, review, rate, and don't forget to subscribe using your favourite podcast app so you can be the first to know about a new episode. Otherwise, we will see you again in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Hello, Treacle.
Goodbye, Treacle.
Bye-bye.